Ladies and gentlemen, picture this: a beautiful symphony of partnership, where two souls dance in harmony, their steps guided by respect, trust, and love. But sometimes, lurking in the shadows of this melody, is a discordant note: a man who, instead of cherishing a woman, uses her. Today I want to unveil the subtle signs, the unspoken truths, the behaviors that reveal when a man is not what he seems. Firstly, consider the lack of emotional investment. A man who uses a woman avoids delving into the depths of her soul. Conversations remain superficial, his attention fleeting, and his heart a closed door. He does not want to know her dreams or fears because he is not planning to stay long enough to care. Then there's inconsistent attention. One moment he's the perfect partner, attentive, sweet, and present. The next he disappears into his own world, emerging only when it suits his agenda. This unpredictability isn't passion, it's manipulation. When questioned, he employs excuses and deflection. "You're overthinking," he says, or "you're being dramatic, the concerns you raise," brushed off like leaves in the wind. Accountability is a stranger to him, and the truth, an inconvenient guest. Watch for his disregard for boundaries. He may encroach on her time, belittle her priorities, or dismiss her feelings. To him, her needs are obstacles in the path of his convenience. His mindset is often transactional. The relationship is not a sanctuary but a marketplace. What can he take? What can she give? The notion of mutual growth is foreign. This is about extraction, not partnership. Finally, observe his reluctance to commit. He enjoys the benefits of companionship but evades defining the relationship or building a future together. He keeps the door ajar not for possibilities, but for escape. But let us not despair. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward empowerment. When we name these behaviors, we strip them of their power. To the women who might find themselves in this web, you are not a means to an end. You are a masterpiece, deserving of someone who sees you, values you, and stands beside you. And to the men, let us rise to the occasion. Let us be better. Relationships are not about taking, they are about giving unconditionally, authentically, and endlessly. Picture a man who smiles at all the right moments, nods when it's expected, and perhaps even says the words you long to hear. But when you reach for something deeper, something real, you find nothing but an empty echo. This is not a connection, it is a performance. A man who lacks emotional investment builds walls, not bridges. He listens, but he does not hear. He speaks, but his words lack the weight of intention. When a woman shares her joys, fears, or aspirations, he offers no genuine curiosity or empathy. He may nod absently, change the subject, or even dismiss her feelings altogether. He avoids vulnerability, sidesteps meaningful conversations, and retreats whenever the moment demands sincerity. It is as though he wears a mask, present only on the surface, while his true self remains guarded and distant. This emotional distance creates a void, a chasm where there should be trust and intimacy. A relationship is meant to be a sanctuary, a place where both partners can reveal their truest selves without fear. But with such a man, the woman may find herself feeling alone, even in his presence. She might start questioning her worth, blaming herself for his detachment, when the reality is far simpler: he is unwilling or unable to give her the emotional connection she deserves. This lack of emotional investment is not a flaw in her, it is a choice he has made. And while it may be subtle at first, it becomes a pattern that reveals his true intentions or lack thereof. Recognizing this behavior is not just about understanding him, it's about reclaiming her own sense of value and seeking the partnership she truly deserves. Imagine a man who showers you with attention one day, making you feel like the center of his world, only to vanish into the background the next. His affection is unpredictable, his presence fleeting, and his interest seems to ebb and flow without reason. This inconsistency can feel like a puzzle. One moment he's fully engaged, making you feel special, and the next he's distant, distracted, or entirely unavailable. This behavior is not a reflection of spontaneity or a busy life, but rather a deliberate pattern designed to keep the woman off balance. He gives just enough to hold her interest, to keep her invested, but never enough to provide stability or clarity. When she questions his absence or inconsistency, he may offer excuses, work, stress, or even the need for space, each explanation vague enough to leave her questioning herself rather than his actions. This push and pull dynamic can create an emotional roller coaster, where moments of connection feel like rare treasures and periods of distance stir anxiety or self-doubt. The woman may find herself clinging to the high points, justifying the lows, and hoping that with time the moments of affection will become more frequent. But this cycle is not accidental. It is a way of maintaining control. By being inconsistent, the man ensures that the woman is always seeking his attention, always working to recapture the moments of connection. It creates an unbalanced power dynamic where her emotional well-being becomes dependent on his unpredictable actions. Over time, this can erode her sense of security and self-worth, leaving her feeling as though she's walking on shifting sands. Inconsistency is not love, nor is it a sign of genuine care. It is a signal that the relationship lacks the foundation of mutual respect and reliability. True connection is steady, reliable, and unwavering, not a game of emotional hide and seek. Recognizing this behavior for what it is can be the first step toward breaking free from the cycle and seeking a relationship that offers the stability and devotion every person deserves. When confronted with questions or concerns, a man who uses frequent excuses and deflection transforms every conversation into a maze of misdirection. Instead of engaging in honest dialogue or taking responsibility, he skillfully sidesteps accountability, leaving the woman feeling confused, unheard, or even at fault for bringing up her concerns. His excuses come in many forms, always tailored to dismiss the issue at hand. Perhaps he's too busy or too stressed to address her feelings. Maybe he blames external factors, a demanding job, a difficult past, or the behavior of others. Each excuse is a shield, a way to avoid the discomfort of facing his own shortcomings or addressing the imbalance in the relationship. Deflection often follows closely behind. If she expresses her needs or voices her frustrations, he may turn the tables, accusing her of being too sensitive, too needy, or too demanding. This tactic shifts the focus away from his behavior and onto her, leaving her questioning whether her feelings are valid. In this way, he not only avoids accountability, but also erodes her confidence in her own perspective. Over time, this pattern can become emotionally exhausting. The woman may find herself rehearsing how to bring up an issue, anticipating his reactions, or even suppressing her feelings altogether to avoid the inevitable cycle of excuses and blame. She may start to internalize the belief that she's asking for too much, when in reality her needs are basic and reasonable. Excuses and deflection are not just signs of immaturity or poor communication, they are tools of avoidance and manipulation. They reveal a lack of respect for the relationship and an unwillingness to engage in the kind of honest, vulnerable conversations that build trust and connection. A man who truly values a woman will face the discomfort of accountability, meet her concerns with empathy, and strive to grow alongside her. Recognizing these behaviors for what they are is essential for reclaiming a sense of self and seeking the genuine partnership every person deserves. Disrespect for boundaries is one of the clearest signs of a man who does not value a woman as an equal partner. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define our comfort zones, our individuality, and our self-respect. A man who disregards these lines isn't just being thoughtless, he is revealing a fundamental lack of respect for her autonomy. It starts subtly, almost imperceptibly. Perhaps he shows up uninvited, dismisses her need for personal space, or pushes her to share things she's not ready to. He might joke about her preferences or belittle her decisions, framing his disrespect as harmless fun. Over time, these small infractions build, eroding her sense of self and creating a dynamic where his wants consistently overshadow her needs. In more overt forms, this disrespect can manifest as controlling behavior. He might insist on knowing her whereabouts, make decisions on her behalf, or ignore her wishes entirely. If she expresses discomfort, he may downplay it, suggesting that she's being too rigid or overreacting. By invalidating her boundaries, he sends a clear message her feelings and limits are secondary to his desires. This behavior creates an environment where the woman feels as though she's constantly compromising, giving up pieces of herself to maintain the peace or avoid conflict. The more her boundaries are ignored, the harder it becomes to assert them, leading to a relationship where she is left feeling unheard, unimportant, and even powerless. True respect in a relationship means recognizing and honoring the other person's individuality. It means listening when she says no, valuing her time and space, and appreciating her right to make her own choices. Disrespect for boundaries isn't just a flaw, it's a red flag that signals a lack of care and consideration. Recognizing this behavior is essential for reclaiming one's power and ensuring that boundaries are not just set, but are also respected and upheld. A transactional mindset reduces the profound depth of a relationship to a mere exchange of benefits. Instead of valuing a woman for who she is, a man with this mentality sees the connection as a series of trade-offs. What can he get? And what does he need to give in return to maintain the status quo? Love, care, and companionship become commodities, not expressions of genuine affection or commitment. This mindset reveals itself in subtle yet telling ways. The man may only engage with the woman when there is something in it for him: a favor, attention, or physical intimacy. Acts of kindness or affection are not freely given but come with unspoken expectations. If she doesn't reciprocate in a way that aligns with his interests, his demeanor shifts, affection is withdrawn, frustration surfaces, or he becomes distant. At its core, this behavior stems from a lack of emotional investment and a focus on self-interest. He views the relationship not as a partnership, but as a means to an end, where his gains outweigh any effort he must expend. Over time, the woman may notice that the relationship feels unbalanced, like she is constantly giving while receiving only the bare minimum in return. When challenged, a man with a transactional mindset may justify his behavior with rationalizations. He might say, "That's just how relationships work," or insist that his actions are fair because he's done his part. But love and partnership are not about keeping score, they are about mutual respect, shared joy, and support that flows naturally without calculation or conditions. This dynamic can leave a woman feeling unappreciated and used, as though her value lies not in who she is, but in what she provides. True connection thrives on generosity, vulnerability, and an unwavering commitment to the other person's well-being. Recognizing a transactional mindset is vital, for it allows her to step away from a dynamic that diminishes her worth and seek the kind of relationship that celebrates her for all that she is. Withholding commitment is a behavior that speaks volumes without words. It is the act of reaping the benefits of a relationship while refusing to define it, solidify it, or invest in its future. A man who withholds commitment enjoys the comfort, support, and companionship of a woman, but consistently avoids taking steps that signify genuine intent or long-term dedication. This behavior often manifests as vagueness about the relationship's status. When asked about where things are headed, he might deflect with ambiguous responses like, "Let's not rush things," or "I just want to enjoy the moment." While these phrases might seem harmless at first, they become a pattern, revealing his reluctance to move beyond the surface. He may shy away from discussions about the future, evading questions about shared goals or plans. Words like "us together" or "forever" seem absent from his vocabulary. While he enjoys the present benefits of the relationship, he resists any responsibility that comes with a committed bond. This withholding creates an emotional imbalance. The woman, left in limbo, may find herself questioning her place in his life. She might make excuses for his reluctance, hoping that time or patience will lead him to change. Yet the more she invests in the relationship, the more he benefits from her presence without offering the security or clarity she deserves. This behavior is not about needing time to build trust or deepen a connection, it is about keeping options open. By avoiding commitment, he ensures that he can walk away at any moment, free of accountability, while the woman remains emotionally tied to a relationship with no defined future. True commitment is not something that needs to be begged for or coerced. It is freely given, a mutual agreement to grow together, support each other, and build something meaningful. Recognizing when commitment is being intentionally withheld is crucial, for it empowers the woman to step away from a one-sided dynamic and seek a partnership where love and dedication are unwavering and reciprocated. In conclusion, relationships should be a sanctuary of mutual respect, care, and authenticity, a space where both partners feel valued and cherished. When a man exhibits behaviors like emotional detachment, inconsistent attention, frequent excuses, boundary violations, a transactional mindset, or withholding commitment, it reveals his unwillingness to invest genuinely in the relationship. These patterns are not fleeting flaws or momentary lapses, but clear signs of a lack of respect and intention. Recognizing these behaviors is not about placing blame. It's about understanding the truth and reclaiming one's self-worth. To the women who may find themselves entangled in such dynamics, know this: you are not meant to be used, questioned, or left in doubt. You are deserving of love that is steady, honest, and deeply invested in your happiness and growth. And to the men, let this be a call to rise above self-interest and embrace the vulnerability, responsibility, and beauty of true partnership. Love is not a game, a transaction, or a fleeting convenience. It is the profound commitment to stand by someone, not only in moments of joy, but also in the challenges that define growth. May we all strive for relationships that reflect this truth, where respect and care are not optional but foundational,